Yeah, what up y'all? So by the time you're seeing this video, it will officially be Ramadan 2022. Now I'm here to deliver Ramadan Kareem, 𝙎𝙾𝙬𝙀𝙾𝙀𝙀. I hope everybody has the greatest Ramadan ever. We about to get straight to it. But a lot of people don't understand clearly what Ramadan really entails, the history behind it, why we do it. So I'm here to let y'all know, anybody who's been interested in it for some time, this is what you're gonna know, what Ramadan is about. So Ramadan is a Islamic observational holy month. It's a month within the lunar calendar. The Islamic calendar follows the moon, the lunar calendar, instead of the Gregorian calendar, which is what we generally call January through December. So one of the months in the lunar calendar, Islamic calendar, happens to be Ramadan. Ramadan begins on the new moon. Every new month of a moon cycle begins with a new moon. The halfway point is the full moon, and then at the next new moon we have a new month. So from new moon to new moon, from new moon to full moon to new moon again, we'll have one complete month. That's the time frame of everything. But let's get into the details of why we do this. So in this month, it is said that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, peace and blessings be upon them, received the revelation of the Quran. And in that, they were in a mountain in their own meditative state, and this is the time where they received those revelations. And it makes sense because what my mentor has said in their own words, and what most people know throughout time, even Jesus did 40 days, peace and blessings be upon Jesus. Jesus did 40 days in the desert, you know, and fought the devil in XYZ. And everybody understands that suffering or withdrawal from carnal pleasure or transcending the body and the temporal world, or the dunya is what we call it, suffering as a gateway into higher consciousness. So it makes sense why all the prophets of all the ages, all the wise men of all the ages, put themselves in solitude and seclusion, not reclusion, but seclusion, solitude, and got closer to themselves and closer to the truth and closer to a higher consciousness. That's why they say we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the fasting, by withstanding and withholding from carnal bodily indulgences. You know, so basically what it all wraps up to is that we are looking to have a higher level of consciousness by practicing the fasting. I'm gonna get straight to it, being that I'm not fasting. I'm gonna say this one time: a lot of y'all are some bitches. When I mean that, what I mean by that is that y'all say y'all can't go a day, a couple hours without food or water. So when y'all say y'all can't, when there's billions of people doing that willingly during this month, it just shows that you have a weaker mind than others, and therefore you have an inferior, by self-declaration. We're not saying it's impossible, you're saying it's impossible for you. Therefore you leave yourself on an inferior mind state than 1 billion plus people on the planet. Not to forget to mention all the homeless people, all the people that live on that suffering frequency of lack and actual withoutness, the people who don't have food, the people who don't have shelter, the people who don't have such an affluent life, who actually have to go through that daily, day in and day out. They don't know where their water source is coming from. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. They don't know if they're gonna have shelter. So for you to say you can't when it's very possible, just indicates that you have a low degree of self-control, self-regulation, and you're not in control of your mind as much as you think. And there are people out in this world like myself and others, billions of others, who are willingly undergoing and undertaking this sacrifice to the consciousness and to the universe, willingly, who have a higher degree of mental regulation and mind control over themselves, self-control, mind mastery, self-mastery, you know. So you can use tools like fasting, you can use Ramadan as a way to gain sovereignty over yourself. So many people, as soon as you take away the food, as soon as you take away some water, as soon as you take away the comforts, the creature comforts, as soon as you take away any type of carnal pleasure, especially the drug addicts, like anybody who smokes weed, smokes tobacco, drinks alcohol, you take away these things, we begin to see your character. So a lot of people like to focus on it being about eating and drinking, but it's not only eating and drinking, it's about being accountable to your thoughts as well. In these moments where you feel you are hungry, are you complaining? Are you entering a state of ungratitude, becoming ungrateful? Is your character, are you becoming irritable and becoming a disagreeable person? Are you cursing people out? These things break your fast as well. It's not just about the food and the water, it's about your character and your conduct. And this is amazing because the people that I'm aligned with, GP community, we focus on maintaining gratitude in the inconvenience factor. So the fact that Big Bro puts us onto these types of thoughts and it's aligned, this is why I rock with GP, because it's so aligned with universal truth in a way that is not necessarily related, but it's because it's universal truth. You see what I'm saying? So I see the universal principles in the teachings and stay on focus. It's about character development and not breaking character. You see what I'm saying? So we use the food and the water because those are immediate necessities of the body, and we can use those as measuring tools for like inconvenience. But now you get into your thoughts. You're like, are you complaining the whole time? I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Therefore, you broke your fast. Once you slip into those lower frequencies, them complainative frequencies, those ungrateful frequencies, you become an irritable person. You start exuding negative energy, not realizing that really in a matter of hours you'll be able to consume as much as you want. So you're really just acting from this high degree of scarcity when there's such a high degree of abundance, and then you forget. You know, the insan tensa, nasit, to forget is in Arabic, right? So the forgetful one, you need to be in a state of constant remembrance, to be in a constant state of remembrance of the source of taqwa, to have that God consciousness. You see what I'm saying? To have that universal consciousness, to have that proximity to the awareness of abundance in your consciousness. You know what I mean? So it's often said that people need reminding more than they need teaching, right? And that's because you are insan, the forgetful one. So you need to constantly be in a state of remembrance. And when you slip into states of ungratefulness or ingratitude, that's literally when you start to forget yourself and you forget the abundance that's going around, because it's either you're living in a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset. And abundance is always ever present for the one that can see it. You know, for the one that can see scarcity is because they're living on a frequency of scarcity, because their thoughts are aligned with scarcity. Imagined or unimagined, real or not, abundance is a fact. It's always there. So it's for us to be able to stay on that high frequency, even if you take away the water, even if you take away the food, and to be accountable to our self-talk in these moments of inconvenience, knowing that we have sustenance at the end of the road. There's no problem, nothing like that. So, you know, in rap, so it's like Ramadan Kareem, everybody. I'm freestyling the shit out of this, you know. Ramadan Kareem, we got Ramadan. Ramadan is a holy month. It's a lunar month, 28 to 30 days, new moon to new moon. We're gonna be withstanding from water and food, primarily from sun up to sundown. Within that, we also must become accountable to our thoughts, our energy, and our actions. We cannot slip into states of ungratefulness. That breaks our fast. We cannot slip into complainative attitudes. That breaks our fast. We can't talk about how thirsty we are, how hungry we are. Also, now we also get accountable to other areas where if we become shitty people and break our character and our conduct becomes a lesser state because of we not having food or whatever, that's also breaking your fast. You must maintain your character, must maintain your conduct, must be kind to others, must not exude negative energy, must stay on a high frequency. Another level of it all is, like, for example, I'm a man and I like women. You know, I have to be highly observant of where my eyes go, and I have to be very careful of allowing my eyes to not go to, you know, the bosoms and the busts and the, you know, fatties and the jaddies. You heard? Can't go there, because that's gonna break my fast, because that puts me into a desire state that is not in alignment with higher level principles. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just about food and water. It's about literally staying in proximity to God consciousness. God consciousness being universal truth, being close to the source, and being as close and aligned with 𝙎𝙝𝙚𝙬𝙆𝙎. 𝙎𝙝𝙚𝙬𝙆 is Arabic for the straight and narrow path. The straight and narrow path is alignment. It's the path of infinite gains and zero losses that we all tend to deviate from to our own degrees. Some people way left field, them over there with it, you feel me? Then some of us take little slight steps left and right, but we're always on that path of taslih, to fix, to correct. So we're always in a state of constant correction. It's straightening, not straightened, perfecting, not perfected, correcting, not corrected. You see what I'm saying? So in this month, it's really about getting to a level of mind mastery that most have never seen. A lot of people only do it for the punitive measure. You know, they want to get the points and the bonuses between their belief of, you know, Allah, and they want to get the bonuses and they don't want to go to hell. See, I don't want to go to hell if it would exist in the outside world, but I definitely don't want to go to hell within myself, which is in those lower realms of thought. So I just want to ascend in my mental planes by realizing the truth before me. Also allowing myself to go into ketosis because I'm not using carbs, and I'll end up going into my fat reserves, and the ketone bodies will be starting to get produced, and then my mitochondria will be like 10x'd, and therefore my brain power will be on 1,000. This is the frequency that all the prophets and the sages got on. And if you continuously eating and putting food in your chakras, in your lower chakras are always active. Because there's always a point during Ramadan, I have a tweet about this, where my lower frequencies turn off. My gonads, my solar plexus, my sacral plexus, my heart chakra, my throat, my third eye, and my crown are the only things that exist. Yeah, I just put y'all onto some real shit. I'm telling you, I'm operating from a different place. YWY, your world is yours. The mindset program is as valuable as the questions you can ask me. Yeah, we talk about fitness, but fitness for a reason. Yeah, we talk about nutrition, but nutrition for a reason. It's all about creating that highly optimized state. Spirituality, I'm telling you, this is mind, body, spirit, and I just put a lot of the spiritual, theological things on the table for you. So when it comes to it all, YWY, we want to say Ramadan Kareem. Ramadan is a month, 28 days to 30 days, a lunar month cycle. It goes from new moon to new moon. Within that, we fast from sunup to sundown. We refrain from indulging in food and water. Yes, food and water. And also we observe our thoughts. We maintain a level of gratitude. If we descend into ungrateful states of mind, we are breaking our fast. If we step into desire, looking at men, looking at women in sexual, lewd, lustful situations, if our mind's eye begins to drift away from the straight and narrow path, the 𝙎𝙝𝙚𝙬𝙆, the path of infinite gains and zero losses, alignment with the higher principles and the truths of life, then we also break our fast. If we end up becoming irritable and our conduct becomes negative and we exude negative energy, we break our fast. It's not just about food and water. This is about self-mastery at its finest. So I'm excited because I wake up at 2:45. 2:45, I'm thinking about negotiating with it. I did that last year, but this year I'm gonna do it. 2:45, I'm up, I'm still doing it. You know, I'm still gonna hit a light workout. As far as the workouts are concerned, I know how to manage my nutrition. If anybody needs help managing their nutrition and managing their muscle mass over the course of Ramadan, like I said, tap in. We do that on the program. But we gonna do maintenance volume. We gonna do 2 a day. We gonna do what we gotta do. All the people in the world are gonna come up with all the excuses that they got, that they can't do this, they can't do that. But remember, it's 1 billion plus people on the planet over the course of this month without water, without food, getting it done. Right. So when you have all of your food, water, shelter, comfort, right, you need a coffee. I can't drink coffee. You need a cigarette. You need all of these things to get your mood right, but you still can't get it done. So it's not even about that. It's about mind mastery, self-mastery, becoming a self-directing individual who under any circumstance can continue on to their ends and their outcomes without being deterred, without being lessened by lack, quote unquote, or due deprivation. You take away from me and I'll still get it done. mental self-mastery. Self-mastery is the only success. And what are we going to be doing? Mastering our minds, mastering our vibrations through restraining, power through restraint. Yo, I swear to God, this is why I'm aligned with the people that I'm aligned with, because they've spoken on principles that I've already been aligned with. And although they might not use the same language, if I say 𝘎𝙬𝙊𝙆, you better ask me what I mean, because I might say 𝘎𝙬𝙊𝙆 in my language that might mean I love you. You see what I'm saying? So don't get caught up on the words. It's all energy before anything. And we care about the verbs. We care about the verbs. You feel me? Because you could communicate with verbs without saying a word. So I love y'all. Ramadan Kareem. This is legendary. You know, if there's any questions about Ramadan further, you know, tap in. But we definitely over the next 30 days gonna be on a whole different frequency. I'm really excited. And it's time to lock in, y'all. You know? Yeah. 𝙀𝙀𝙊𝙆𝙎, we out here, bro. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I love y'all. Consider vibrations raised. Hop on the program, because you might think this is a fitness program, but this is just about being aligned with the highest level of divine that you can be. You know, all the excuses in the world, but it's kids hungry. And the last note I want to put out there is that everybody in the world, in the Muslim world, who's going to be fasting, no matter what level of socioeconomic strata you're on, which means like no matter how rich you are and how much money you have, you are going to feel that frequency, that suffering frequency, that most people who don't have, or the people who truly don't have, the don't haves in this world, feel every day of their lives. So you get to develop and cultivate a proximity to humility. You see what I'm saying? And lastly, you know, there's always people gonna ask, so what about these people, that people? Diabetics don't have to fast. Elderly people don't have to fast. People who are super sickly don't have to fast. Women, when they're on their menses, don't have to fast. You know, there's exceptions in certain conditions, but there are people who will look for a way out or look for the excuse so that they don't have to do it. But the universe and your conscience knows deep down that you're bullshitting. So you're gonna end up repercussing. You're gonna get the repercussions of your bullshit. The truest and the sincere are the ones who get in the clear. You see what I'm saying? YWY, your world is yours. I hope this was a good introduction to Ramadan. If anybody has any questions, like I said, feel free to ask. It's a specific energy field that we're going into, and I am ready to absorb all the barakah. Barakah are the blessings, you know. So Ramadan Kareem. Inshallah, everybody has a good Ramadan. If you're not a Muslim by definition or by self-identification, I recommend that you fast for 3 days. Not for 1 day, not for 2, but for 3. Because the first day will be trying. The second day you will be knowing what to expect, but it'll be still trying. And on the third day, because on the outside of that day you have freedom, you'll truly be able to understand and harness the energies and truly bask in the feeling, you know, knowing that it's over, you know. So try it for 3 days. If you could do the 𝘬𝙪𝙪, then we could do the 𝘬𝙪𝙪, you heard? I always try to end these videos, and I always have more to say, but this is the last words. I love y'all. Happy Ramadan. Let's embrace higher self all day. Yes. Consider vibrations raised. I love y'all.